All right. It is almost go time, showtime. So, technical presentation hosted by Mark Cerny. Of course, the internet is blowing up thinking this is going to be a PS5 Pro. We don't really know what it is. Nothing is confirmed yet. But I will say this: if it is a PS5 Pro, I am going to be changing how I structure content and how I do content for sure. Because basically, the Let's Talk series kind of just doesn't even work anymore. If this is a PS5 Pro, um, I am competing with Leaker and Rumor Mill accounts, and there's just, I mean, I just don't care to. But yeah, that'll be another video for another time. Anyways, we got 3.5 minutes. I really wish I could be in like a better mood for this, but it's just so much surrounding all like going into this next generation of if it is a console or whatever. Again, it's I don't know. I by the end of the year, I think the way I go about doing the Let's Talk series, especially, I think it's going to change. I think it's time to switch things up a bit because it doesn't. I'm getting. I feel myself slipping into that thing of like, nah, that's bullshit. Nah, that's bullshit. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And it's because I just see so much in the way of people posting up rage bait stuff and everything. Sorry. YouTube is being a big giant piece of shit again. All right, here we go. My bad. Mark. And of course, oh wow, yep, it's a PlayStation 5 Pro. So, again, I will be changing how I do shit. I just didn't want to play through.
Lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in
YouTube, seriously, work.
The original PlayStation 5. And how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience.
Okay.
When PS5 debuted in 2020,
very cool
it brought
video.
A lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed, complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second.
Cool.
PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic
Star
visual
Wars, and everybody gets mad.
Reflections off of water or glass, and the realism that comes from real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds and data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited.
You okay? I'm working on it.
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games. With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are. Finally, the DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game. It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier, and the controls less responsive.
Yes, absolutely.
Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second. Mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time.
Good.
Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big 3. First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster.
Okay.
Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we
That's
added
good.
custom hardware for machine learning,
Yes.
and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. PSSR analyzes the game images pixel by pixel and can add
This
an
is great,
extraordinary amount of detail.
But literally,
which
this all
boosts the
got leaked
effective
and
resolution
ruined.
of the
The
games.
surprise of it.
Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the big 3 involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second.
That's great.
Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier. This goal of delivering almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5. Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5,
Oh,
both of
okay.
which target 60 frames per
All
second.
right.
What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5.
They're going to full-on
For
Digital
this, my
Foundry route
favorite
with
is
this.
the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much
You
clearer.
shouldn't have made it smaller like that.
And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including
Yeah.
the trees and procedural cars. So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the Big 3 showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects.
This is essentially going from like a 12th gen Intel CPU to a 13th gen Intel CPU, or a 14th gen maybe even, where you have just that much more core usage and that much more. The system resource management is going to be so much better in this, because you have all the different the different way that everything is being set up here. It's going to be noticeable.
As well as to the hair.
Is this game changing? I don't know. It's just noticeable. I think it's that point of like, okay, we're gonna finally have the best of both worlds. It's kind of like this is just matching the PC spec at this point. They're not trying to overdo anything. PlayStation 6 will probably end up doing that, but this is pretty much the way I run games on PC. That's what this is matching. Where I run it like medium settings, maybe I can throw ray tracing at it in there and everything. But the PS5 Pro will actually be a little bit more powerful than my current gaming rig. So, yeah.
And the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Jorv's orders.
Good enough for me.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference. allowing Gran
Yeah,
Turismo 7
Gran
to add
Turismo.
ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second.
Awesome.
That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy,
What about
allowing
VR
not
mode?
only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows. I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
Cool. Give us full screen. Yep, with the 3. That is so fucking terrible that this got leaked. Literally, like, it was a week before the actual announcement. Is absolutely terrible on that. It's just like, yep, we knew everything that they already put in there before they even got to say it. Before they got to wow everybody with this. It got ass blasted over the internet as horrendous. It's very cool that we're getting a new system that is more powerful and everything, but that is just like, ugh, as rough.
Don't let me hang.
Huh. Rebirth looking better than ever. Okay, Horizon.
You're right. It'll be worth it.
Dude looking.
Okay.
Even Demon Souls. They're going back to like Demon Souls and Ratchet and Clank to PS5 launch titles. Alan Wake 2. And Assassin's Creed. Gran Turismo. Oof, man, it looks great. Yeah, Harry Potter stuff. This test drive. Okay, so these are some upcoming titles. I think. Ooh, 700. I thought for sure they were going to go 600 with it. $700 for that. Ooh, buddy. The taller. And the stand is sold separately. $700 and the stand is sold separate. Holy shit. Okay. 700. It's going to be about 8 with taxes. They really should wait till next year. They could have brought that. They could have brought that price down by at least $100. Ooh, $700 for that. Damn. And I was really looking forward to getting the PC upgrade too. I was looking forward to this next year or two, getting my PC upgrade some, and then that's $700 there. Fuck. Yeah. I mean, it looks great. It definitely looks good. The ray tracing capability in there that they're showing off. I mean, you know, you can flip through all these screenshots all you want. So I am really curious to see what the VR is going to look like. The PSVR 2 run, especially like, you know, Gran Turismo, when you're already in Gran Turismo and there is like the chrome on the headlights or something, you can see it. You can already see like a very low res reflection running off from that. So yeah, that could be super cool to see. Boy, that would be, yeah. Huh. So when do the pre-orders start for this? And are we going to have the emails going out and everything else? Let me actually check my email real quick to see if they are doing like the invite thing. Oh, and did it say a release date? I don't think it did, right? November 7th. So literally every fucking piece of information in this that Sony was trying to make into a very cool showcase, and very good job on everyone who worked on this showcase and did this. Awesome job with it. It would have been so much cooler if we didn't know every single piece of information beforehand. Oh man. Oh no. So Assassin's Creed Shadows will technically be a launch title for that. Holy shit. We got new hardware coming out in a few months. I'm putting it on the calendar real quick. That is. I'm just really bummed that all this stuff got leaked before. I'm just really bummed on that because this would have been such a cool thing of like, oh my god, whoa, and everything. But it's just got killed. Like the hype and excitement for this got absolutely slaughtered because of all these people. And again, it just makes me think like I will probably end up doing a different way of going about it. Well, actually, I think the Let's Talk series is coming to an end. If I do reactions or whatever, I think it's probably going to be a different. There's no reason for me to do the Let's Talk series anymore. If we literally got every piece of information in this whole review thing, like a week before it even happened, there's no reason for me to keep doing this series. This looks great, by the way. Everything that they're showing here looks fantastic. Man, again, this just looks like it's on par with the level of stuff that so the big elephant in the room on this, really, I would say, is the PlayStation, the PSSR, and that is, I think that might actually rival DLSS at this point, and it's very cool that AI driven upscaling, as they're calling the PSSR. So what they can essentially do is render everything at 1080p, and they can try and upscale it to 4K as much as possible. If this thing can handle 4K upscaling, that's cool. But I would say just do 1440p because you don't need the 4K. If you go 1440p, you can actually add extra levels of detail. And this is where I think the PC side of things still kind of keeps the PC side of things even more relevant because you can customize either that or give us the settings list. Like give us the whole thing where we can go in there and be like, okay, I don't want so much shadowing. I don't want so much, especially filters of, film grain, depth of field, and all that stuff. We are getting a lot of those options now. We're starting to see that more and more. But on the PC, of course, you can just go in there. If they don't give you the option, you can literally mod the game and not have those options. Star Wars Outlaws is a prime example of this. So I think we should have just more options in there and then allow AI upscaling to do all the heavy lifting work in the background. So let us pick and choose what details we want. And then just make it so like the highest settings are not going to, because everybody's, the reason why they don't do this is because majority of people will crank the settings up to extreme maximum, the ultra resolution and everything, and that's where that's where a lot of people go wrong in the PC. They're like, well, the PC version doesn't work really well and everything. It's like, no, it's because you cranked up to extreme settings and then you're like, come on, PC, do it. It's like, well, that's not how gaming works. That's not how gaming engines work. This is the reason why a lot of people still stay on console, because they don't understand how the hell to optimize a game properly. That's what the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to try and do. It's going to try and optimize it to the best of the game engine's abilities. And that's what the problem is a lot of times we don't agree with the way that the developers are optimized, the settings that the game developers are pushing forward and back and everything. That's what you think the patch updates are for. patch updates are literally redialing settings in the game engine to make a extra amount of frame rate happen or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, it's good news. It's really good news. It's a pretty steep price for it, but it's still cheaper than if you were going to set up a PC and run a PC. And the amount of content that is on the PS5, like, I'd be very interested to see how VR runs on this thing and whatnot, and like PSVR 2, I mean, like, runs on this and everything. Are we going to have? Could we possibly have ray tracing in VR with this? I still have a lot of questions that are popping up in my brain on this. But again, I'm just like, it just bugs me so much. It bugs me to my core that I already knew all this information going into this. The old days are dead. That's what this mainly showed today. The old ways and the old days are dead. We are now in the information era, and even if I blocked every account that I see. I hit that block button and mute button on all of this, and I still seen all this information. It's like 6 months already I've been seeing all this information. I've been hearing about this damn thing for like 2 years. And I have been blocking every account that says something. Although the timeline, and that's the thing too, is the timeline. They were correct on the timeline too. They because the November 7th release date on this. It's just that it's the gaming industry, shit gets pushed back. What I think also is happening here is I think shareholders were pushing them to get this console out this year because next year the price on everything is going to drop. Because of reasons. The economy reasons that are going to probably hopefully start to shift next year when a certain thing in November ends up happening. November 5th is going to be a very big day, and then November 7th is going to be just as big now also. So November is looking to be a huge ass month. November 7th is about to be one of the most historical months in the history of the world for multiple different reasons. Yeah. All right. Well, that was that. I'm gonna have to think about things on how, like I said, how I go about. I was going to try and keep the Let's Talk series going until next year. And at this point, I'm just like, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't even know if it's worth it. I might as well just end the Let's Talk series and start doing reaction videos, because basically it's like, I can't even do reaction videos because everything gets fucking leaked, and the only way I could do reaction videos is if the Let's Talk series turned into a thing where I go on social media and I just start reacting to the social media trends of stuff. And then it's just like, I mean, maybe that'd be fun to watch. I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, that's going to do it for this stream today. I just wanted to jump on here and check out this PS5 Pro announcement. It is a real thing now, finally. I will finally now admit and say that the PS5 Pro is a real thing. Again, I will not say it's a real thing until Sony tells me that they are actually coming out and making this thing, and now we have a release date and all that. And there's probably 1 million videos being recorded and made right now, podcasts galore, of everybody cashing in on the hype train, even though there really was no hype train, because everybody's being like, oh yeah, we knew this was coming. Yeah. So, if you want to see possibly what I was just talking about, of a new take on the Let's Talk series, or I just end the Let's Talk series and I call it something else, the reaction series or something, I don't fucking know. Make sure and hit that subscribe button. You know what to do. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will be back with new content in one shape or form. We will see what that new content will be. But yeah, I think I've been thinking about it for a few months now. Of like, do I, what's the Let's Talk series even? What even is it anymore? Because the way the internet has shifted and changed, and the way that everybody just all the information just gets just blown up on the internet. Of like, oh my god, the way things work, the world evolves and changes. So, yeah. Cool. That's about the best reaction I can have is cool, because I already knew about this now. It sucks so badly. Yeah. Anyways, PS5 Pro, I will definitely I guess the next big discussion is it worth it? That's the next big discussion point. Is it worth it? Is it worth the upgrade? I think if you don't have a PC at this point, because as I've been saying for years now, everybody should have a PC and a PlayStation. If you don't have a PC and you are still on the PS4, let's say, this is 100% worth it. Especially for that price right there, it is worth it. Like, get your ass off the PS4, get your ass a PS5. This is so fucking worth it for $700. However much with tax add on. This is very, very worth the price, especially if you use your PlayStation on the daily, or or you've been looking at a PC. This is like, I mean, outside of if you want to do like PC modding and stuff like that, or if you want to go on certain websites and try before you buy games and such, then the PC is still kind of enticing. But if you want VR, you want DualSense, and you want, something that can run at a kind of high-end PC at this point with that PSSR, because that's literally the whole thing of a high-end PC is that it's doing AI upscaling. So now you also have that in there too. It's pretty fucking cool. Yeah. Also, the security on the console too. Like, it's a lot harder it's because we got these Chinese games coming through. It's going to be a lot harder for China to try and do spyware of any type in the games. I'm going to go there. I'm going to bring it up. Why not? Like Wukong. Who knows? That it could have had spyware, and it's from China. Like, that's what China does. There's another couple games coming from China also. That's literally being published sort of by PlayStation with this China initiative. Again, any one of those on the PC could have something built into it where it's like kernel level getting into your PC or whatever. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. 40 minutes. It's a 9-minute video. Took a second for me to get up and run. It's fine. Yeah, hopefully audio was good. And yeah, this will just it's a live stream, but I'll just keep it up as like it's a video. Anyways, yeah, that's gonna do. I might. Maybe I'll nuke this. Maybe I'll nuke this stream and I'll put it up as a video, and then make sure all the audio sounds good and everything, and cut off the trim it a little bit. Anyways, yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. And as always, I will see you next time.